I'm very excited. Mikey's not here. You know what that means?
What does it mean?
Microphone for me,
Oh,
baby.
so you get to talk more? You get to be a bigger star?
Well, no, I just get to get a lot of things that I got to say, and I get to say them.
Go ahead. What do you got?
I got nothing. You were telling me about the snow at your house.
The snow at my house is melting, and it's melting to me. Snow melt is very interesting. I mean,
It melts. It goes from solid to liquid. It's water.
I understand that, but so much in the summer, your house is engulfed in sunshine because the sun is so much higher in the sky. But in the winter, certain spots get sun and certain spots don't. So in my backyard,
Mr. Science.
well, Bill Nye, the science guy, in my backyard, the last 20 feet of my backyard,
It's a big yard. Yeah.
there's no snow. There's absolutely nothing. But
So
in
it's
the
bald.
sort of like me. But in the shadows of my house, in the shadows, in the areas that are getting no snow at all, there's been no snow melt. This is how I was once
You
told.
got like 8 inches of snow.
Well, no, I got about 4 inches of snow.
Oh, okay.
And it recedes, in the front when the front near the fence is pretty much denuded of snow, but you get further back. It's mostly on the sides where, because of the angles of the other houses, the sun hasn't reached it. And it reminded me, I once went on a tour of Monticello, of Jefferson's house in Monticello, and they talked about how maybe Jefferson, he probably didn't come up with this himself.
He was pretty smart.
He was a smart guy, but they talked about the ice chests that he had, that he would go get ice and put the ice, just bury the ice.
I think he might have.
Well, maybe. Maybe then he invented the refrigerator?
Kind of,
See,
maybe.
I would have thought that somewhere
I'm not sure
before
he didn't
him
think
in
of that.
Europe,
I don't know.
Anyway, but it was always like he would put the ice in areas where the sun wouldn't get to it, and he could keep things for forever. The ice would stay forever. I don't know.
Run around in the shade.
Yeah, I just find it interesting, the dynamic of the snow melt.
You are just
in my
a
house.
Renaissance man.
No, I'm not. I'm actually not.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. No,
Really?
I'm not.
Really?
I'm not a Renaissance man.
No?
I don't have any particular skills that a Renaissance man had. I don't have any particular.
You like to dress up in little frilly outfits.
But I don't have
plumes.
any interests. Renaissance men, by definition, have varied interests.
Yeah.
I don't have any interests except sleeping. I'm not really a Renaissance man. I watch.
You enjoy-
I watch American Idol.
Why?
Renaissance to excess. I watch American Idol. Renaissance
Trying to
men
help
would
you.
watch other things. They'd watch the History Channel or the Discovery Channel or something like that. I just watch American Idol. And that's,
And watch the snow
I'm
melt.
sort of like the Encino Man.
You're like
I'm sort of an
Jack-
idiot.
Jack Handy with your deep thoughts.
And I'm sort of a moron. And I appreciate that. I am sort of a moron.
Okay.
What do you know?
Which brings us to Terrell Owens, who got cut by the Dallas Cowboys in the
Surprised me.
middle of midnight, long after you were asleep.
Yeah.
And me.
Yeah.
Yeah, after midnight.
So where are you going with this?
My question is, where do you think Terrell's going to end up?
You're kidding, aren't you?
No, what?
Well, how could he not end up with the Redskins?
Because the Redskins, a Redskins official told us they're not interested.
Really? And you believe that? Didn't the Redskins also say they weren't going to sign Albert Hainsworth?
Yeah.
So the price was too high?
Yeah.
So they gave him the highest price in recorded mankind history? What do you seriously
No.
don't think that?
I'm just telling you what they said.
Okay,
I'm
no,
asking you.
I just
you
said-
interpret. You speak fluent Redskin.
I just, look, Terrell Owens, just because he's an insidious guy, doesn't mean he isn't a real good player still. Not great, but a real good player still. Over the last 3 years, he's the only wide receiver in the entire NFL to have at least 10 touchdowns every single year.
But he's only had 2 games over 100 yards this year.
He can stick his feet in the end zone while holding the ball.
Okay.
Okay, he can still do that as well as anyone. Who's the Redskins' number 1 receiver?
That would be Santana Moss.
How tall is he?
Not very
How big is Terrell Owens?
big.
He's big, and he requires a double team. Now, there's obvious reasons why you might not want him. You have a very young, unproven head coach and a very young, still unproven quarterback, and Terrell Owens could eat those guys up. But you're going to tell me that
tough
the
in the
owner, you're
locker
going to tell me
room.
the owner of the Washington Redskins doesn't want, now wait, now hold it. Do you think Terrell Owens would be motivated to play the Cowboys twice and the Eagles twice every year?
I believe that he would.
Look, is it a natural fit? Maybe not. Maybe there's no natural fit for Terrell Owens. I think New England is a good fit.
That's what I was
because New
gonna
England,
ask, yeah.
New England, Bill Belichick's strong, Robert Kraft is strong, Tom Brady is great, and Randy.
He doesn't like to share though.
Terrell Owens, so Randy Moss didn't like to share, and he learned how to share.
Happy, sharing passes with Randy Moss.
And I think Miami. I know Bill Parcells didn't
that
like
would be
Terrell
interesting.
Owens, but the devil you know is different than the devil that you don't know.
Tennessee, Oakland.
Well,
Those
Oakland
are
is
their names I've
Oakland
heard.
is the court of last resort. A lot of people talked about Minnesota. I don't think that Brad Childress, who has been personally strafed by Terrell Owens, could handle that. I don't think that's necessarily a good fit. But I think that there will be more interest in Terrell Owens than other people think. Maybe at less money than Terrell Owens wants.
Yes.
But I think there's going to be interest. I think that
35.
Philadelphia, I'm sure, sat around today and said, Donovan, Andy, could we do this? Now, I suspect that Andy Reid said, I don't know that I can. I mean, this was hard the last time. I bet you Donovan is more willing to do it than Andy Reid. But if you're asking me seriously, I don't believe the Redskins' denial immediately. And until he signs with somebody else, I'm going to think that the Redskins are a viable place for him. Do you disagree with anything I've said?
No, I don't disagree with anything you've said, but I know what their actions.
You're allowed
and
to
their
say what
sources,
you want.
Our sources are saying it. So.
Your sources? What are your sources saying?
That they're not interested.
Okay, because that's what they're being told.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
But Redskins. Anyway, let's move on then.
All right.
We'll see how it works out.
Sure. I'm not saying it's a lock. I'm saying you have to consider the Redskins.
Alex Rodriguez, hip injury, has to have surgery, and he's going to be out for 2 weeks. Are you surprised by that?
The Yankees don't want him to have surgery.
No, I know.
Brian Cashman has said they want to seek another alternative than surgery. And this reminds me of the Sean Merriman circumstance in San Diego in this regard. I think Alex Rodriguez, given what has happened to him this year, will do anything to get on that field and show people that he's a great player.
Yeah.
Even risk worse injury, which would require surgery. The surgery that is now said that if it goes through will take 4 months to get back on the field. So if it happens now, he's not back until July. And if he plays a little while and then needs it, then his season is probably done. It's the worst year of Alex Rodriguez's life, and it's not getting any better.
And it's getting worse.
Because the book didn't come out yet.
No.
Selena's book didn't come out yet.
No.
That's going to make it worse. How's Sally, by the way?
She's fine.
Did she
She's in Texas.
she-
She sends her love.
Did she watch?
She said, I love those two idiots. I believe the word she used was idiots.
And that's fine.
And I said, yeah, I love them too, and they
Yeah.
are idiots. And we laughed. We
that's
had a
fine.
girls' laugh.
That's
about
fine.
it.
You know what? That's fine.
Yeah. But anyway, so that is your take on Poor A-Rod, huh?
It's a terrible year.
It is.
It's a terrible year,
And the book is coming out.
yeah, but it's not. We were asked today on PTI the distraction level. There's no distraction. The Yankees are not distracted. I mean, these are the Yankees. They
New
get
York
this
City.
every single day, 162 games. Alex Rodriguez is nothing in terms of distractions.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, last question, because I know you.
Idle? Is this an idle question? No. Oh.
Well, okay.
Well, I mean, yesterday I had
Okay.
Lil
with
going
idle.
through.
Yeah.
And then I said that the two best boy singers
Uh-huh.
were Vaughn and Juno, and they both got cut.
Juno, I saw
but
that
I did
movie.
say that
That was
the
the movie.
blind kid, whose name escapes me now, Scott, was going to go through because the judges really praised him, and he did go through. And then they got the Puerto Rican kid went through who sung the Elton John songs. A very nice singer.
I didn't think
he was
didn't
good
do
as
a good
Vaughn.
job. I read somewhere
No, I thought-
on the internet that he didn't. That
He was
that
all right.
butchered one of the Elton John songs.
I thought
No?
it was all right,
Okay.
but tonight's very exciting because
Because
it's
you know I don't
wild card
watch.
night.
Oh.
And then people who came close and maybe will go. My leading wild card contender, and I think it'll be one boy and two girls. I mean, even though I think the talent of the boys is much better this year than the girls, I think that Anoop. I'm liking Anoop. I am. See, you
Anoop?
don't watch the show.
No.
Anoop. He's a kid from I think from Indian Distraction, Extraction. Did I say distraction?
I think you did.
Extraction. Distraction. What did I mean by that? Anoop is a college student at Chapel Hill. I assume he goes to North Carolina.
I would think
He's very preppy looking.
Oh.
And he's a good singer.
Oh.
He's a good singer. And I liked him. He was in the first group and just lost out to Michael Sarver, who I didn't really think was all that good. So I think he's got a real chance. And I think they'll put in two girls. What I'm stressing over is I don't want them to put Tatiana back in. I mean, Tatiana's a plague.
Yeah,
she's
that's
an
what I've heard. That's
absolute
what I've heard.
plague.
That's what the internet says.
She's not a team player. She's awful. And
Yeah.
she's a pretty good singer, but
Yeah.
she's not any better than anybody else.
Yeah.
But but Lil, boom,
Okay.
shot through. What was your question?
No, I just wondered what you thought of Idle so far, because we haven't talked about it much.
Well, I asked you going to talk about Idle, and you said no.
Well, I didn't want to, but
what was your other question?
My other question was about the near miss that Earth had with the asteroid.
We're dead.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing
that
in all the years of recorded Earth that we haven't been crashed into by some giant thing that'll kill us all anyway. Yeah. This thing came between us and the moon.
Yeah.
That in space miles, that's like...
How do you not get warning on that? I guess maybe they don't want people to know.
They don't want you to know because you'll panic. You'll head for the hills, although the hills won't do you any good.
Yeah.
The whole kit and caboodle is going up in flames. I mean, yeah.
You have a timetable on that?
Every day is 50-50.
And does it have anything to do with Uranus?
Everything has to do with Uranus.